Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Nathan Ragland, and before we continue, I want to say you guys responded well to my little merch teaser last week. Want another one? Well, here you go, video viewers. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyways, let's dip away from the bright image to something a little more dark. Today's guest is the Dark Somnium, a narrator of creepypasta, no sleep, and horror stories who's got the art of storytelling down to a T. This guest was a special one to me because my dad recommended him. This is someone he admired and loves to listen to, so I wanted to sit down and chat with him. So, thank you, and I love you, Dad. Also, heads up, there's a bit of interference on the guest end, so I apologize if the podcast is hard to listen to. It clears up part of the way through the podcast, but you can still hear everything throughout, so I hope you enjoy nevertheless. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. You know how excited I've been for this, honestly, because I think I mentioned this before in an email, but the main reason why I got you here is because my dad, he was the one that is a major fan of you, and he was the one that recommended you, so I thought this would be great to just have you on, so...
Oh, cool. Well, that's awesome.
It's one of those, whenever I was starting this podcast, again, I'm trying to get just about anyone I can. And for him, I was like, is there like one person you could think of that you would just love to know more about? And he was like, you were like the first name that he thought of. So, because he likes to, oddly enough, even though you do no sleep content, he likes to fall asleep to your content. So,
Well, I'm honored. Tell him I said thank you.
I'll be sure to do that and then some. Is this the first time you've appeared on a podcast, or am I just grasping for something here?
I believe I did one before. No, I think I've done like one or two.
Okay.
In the past.
Okay, that's cool. It's cool, nevertheless. I do want to say the stories that you pick or whatnot, and like how you present them or whatnot. I don't watch that kind of content that much, but I love how you do it. Like, it's absolutely amazing.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Is the least I could do. I try to at least do research on my guests before I bring them on. Yes. All right, Ronnie, before we get started, I must ask the icebreaker question I ask for every single podcast. What is your most unpopular art opinion?
Most popular art opinion?
Most unpopular art opinion.
I'm not sure what you mean. Like art.
Like, like if there's a certain take on like a certain style of something that you prefer that other people are like, why would you even go that way? Or if you like dislike a certain thing about it, whether it be art, music, YouTube, whatever it may be, that goes against the grain of what everyone else thinks of it.
Well, I guess personally, I don't like the reason I do creepypastas and fictional stories is because it's like fake. It's not real.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fun, scary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the idea of like the ones that do true scary stories and kind of like frame it like it's some sort like campfire story. When they're talking about how someone has been was stalked or how someone was like sexually assaulted or something or murdered. Those experiences weren't fun for those people, so I don't really think they should be used as like fun story, like spooky little entertainment pieces for people. So that's why I personally don't do true scary stories. I mean, I have like when I started, I tried it out, but that's when I realized how I felt about it.
Okay.
But I'm not saying anything against people that do like it, because I know that there's just that's like just because they like listening up to like hearing about that stuff doesn't mean that they're bad or that they would go do that to people. I just find it in bad taste when stuff's like when people are like using those types of things as like scary campfire stories or something.
Okay. No, I can totally get where you're coming from, because there's there's only a certain amount to where like a story can be enjoyable, but like the true stories is like someone had to suffer through that kind of thing, and it's kind of if I may say in poor taste to like turn around and be like, hey, let's hear this incredible little story. Like, no, it was a horrifying experience for at least one person in that story. There's no need for you to turn around and just make it be like happy go fun time out in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah.
All right, but basically true stories in terms of words are wonderful. True stories in terms of story time. Is that a hill you're willing to die on?
Well, I mean, I should clarify because I myself would be open to doing videos about that stuff. It's
Okay.
just when it's in the context of like, got the creepy music, got the scary sound effects, I'm telling it like it's this campfire story. I think that's kind of like in bad taste. But if people are doing like an informational way, I think that's fine. If that makes sense.
No, no,
It's just kind of like
okay.
in it. So,
I get it.
because
Okay,
like
no.
in the future, I can see myself doing videos like that, but I would definitely go about them a lot differently than I handle my narrations. I wouldn't treat them like my narrations. I wouldn't be doing voices. I wouldn't be, like adding scary music, stuff like that, because just out of respect for the people who, you know, dealt with the stuff I'm talking about. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
No, I totally understand where you're coming from on that one. Yeah. Just more or less, not so much like telling the true story, but making it seem, again, like I said, more campy, more like a,
but yeah,
fun. Yeah.
like sensationalized or like just yeah.
But nevertheless, that's a hill you're willing to die on?
I guess I think.
Okay. I mean, what better? I mean, it's a good opinion in my, if I may say so myself, because I totally understand where you're coming from on that one. But with that, I can't think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome everyone. I am your host Nathan Ragland. Feel free to subscribe or follow on whatever stream platform you prefer. I have merch out. Links in the description, and also follow us on Twitter at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. He is a narrator of creepypasta, horror, and no sleep stories, as well as a composer of his own music. His main channel has close to 400,000 subscribers. Welcome to the podcast, Ronnie, aka the Dark Somnium. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to sit down and chat. I have been waiting for this one for a long while now, and I'm just glad to sit down and actually get to chat with you. But before we really divulge into your content as a whole, let's go back a little bit to the origin stories of the Dark Somnium. What exactly got you interested in art and, video production as a whole in the first place?
Well, so I've always liked, scary stories, stuff like that, um, like horror movies,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to work like overnight shifts at this place where I would do web hosting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so while I was, working throughout the night, I would listen to YouTube channels like Mr. Creepypasta and stuff like that. Just listen to those scary stories. But at the time, I noticed that they all like used the same music, um, and so and also a little bit backstory. I want to become a film composer someday, and I started
Okay.
writing when I was like 12. So I've been writing for a long time, and I had an idea that I could maybe approach some of these channels and offer to write them some custom music so that they, would have some of their own like custom music for their videos. And so I did that. I reached out to like 50, and only one of them responded. And so he said it would be cool if I made him like a little piano intro. So I
Oh.
did that, and I sent it, and then he didn't reply. I'm not sure if he didn't get it or if he didn't like it, but at the time I was like, well, I guess I could just make my own channel and read stories myself, and then I could just write music for all the stories and kind of like make theme songs for them and stuff. And that's pretty much just how I started my channel.
Okay. No, that's incredible to hear on your end. Just, one of those like trying to help out others in the first place. I think that's incredible. If I may ask, like you said, you wanted to be a film composer like at first. I assume music was essentially your first love. When did it for you come from just, a love for it to eventually a passion and making it kind of your career?
Um, well, I'd say like are you saying asking when I decided that or when like it started to kind of happen?
Both.
So, well, I guess to kind of explain how I got into it, when I was like 10 or 11, obviously a kid, uh, growing up, I had a lot of emotional issues,
Okay.
dealing with depression and stuff. And I was talking to my grandmother once, and she said that I should try to find a creative outlet for my emotions, something I can put my emotions into, create something so that they don't, turn destructive or anything like that. And so she had this little like plastic keyboard at her house, and every summer that I would go out there, I would just play on it and make little melodies. And then over time, I started to learn how I can do that on my computer with programs like FL Studio.
Okay.
and it's something that I would do whenever I was like sad or frustrated or upset, and it would really help me feel better. And then that just kind of grew into like a love of writing music in general. And once that happened, like once it became something I just really enjoyed doing, that's when I decided that I wanted to do something. I wanted to, like have a future where I did that for a living, whether it was like my job, or I just made music and sold it, or if I was like a film composer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and that's also obviously what kind of helped with my decision to do the whole YouTube thing.
Okay. Okay. No, I mean, I can totally get where you're coming from. It's always nice to hear kind of a passion that you have sort of be supported by those close to you. I know that's personally part of the reason why I'm still doing this podcast after 20 something episodes. um, for you, like you said, I imagine inspiration for you probably comes from everywhere. What's like a major inspiration for not only the style of music that you do, but also like how you go about your narrations as well?
Well, when I first started writing music, one of the games that I really liked playing was Silent Hill 2,
Oh,
and
okay.
the music from that, really, I just really enjoyed it. I really liked the way it sounded, and so when I started writing music myself, I wanted to try to make some music similar to that, and over time, it's evolved into like my own style, I think. But that's where it originally started, where I like got inspiration from the type of music that I wanted to make was the Silent Hill video games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you asked something else on top of that, but I already forgot it.
No, I was gonna say like so the music is inspired mainly by Silent Hill and like the style of like the creepy games like that. I was gonna say was an inspiration for how you go about your narrations as well.
Oh, so with the narrations, I don't really just like to do straight up scary. Like, I like to do more emotional,
Mm-hmm.
or like horror, where rather than just being scared, and then like being done with it when you're done listening, I like to make videos that like stay with you for a while after you listen to it.
Oh yeah.
Something to think about, and maybe you'll remember the story a few days later, and just like emotional ones. Not always sad, but like rather than using scary music throughout the stories, I'll write kind of melancholy, sad music to
Mm-hmm.
offset the creepiness of it and kind of give this like somber, dark tone that's kind of like in between horror and sad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just like melancholy, really.
Okay. Okay. No, I mean, sorry, I was gonna say for someone that has actually sat down and watched some of your videos as well, I totally get where you're coming from on that one. Trying to not really like bring a shock factor to a person, but like have something that will stick with a person, like with how like psychological it could be at times with how you get presented. I mean, I can only imagine how rough it must be for you at times to get that like to hit that bar just right.
Yeah, no, it is, especially because it depends on the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I have really bad ADHD, so
Okay.
it's hard for me to like just sit down and read stuff. Actually, before I started my channel, I had only ever read like one or two books in my entire life,
Oh
and
wow. Yeah.
those were because I was in situations where I literally had nothing else to do aside from read books.
Okay.
Um, uh, and the way I'm talking right now, how I kind of stutter, this is also how I sound when I record,
Mm-hmm.
and I all of the like I usually stutter or like make a mistake once every 10 or 15 seconds throughout
Mm-hmm.
like a sentence, and when I'm done recording a story, I'll have to go through and edit it together, like string it together. Um, and the story like so prior to starting my channel, I never really read and I didn't really have much experience reading out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look for stories, I have a problem actually getting through the full story, like to see if I want to narrate it. So I
Okay.
normally just skim stories, and obviously with the types of videos I want to make, how they're kind of like somber, melancholy, it's kind of conflicting if I don't pick the right story. So sometimes it's hard to get the type of video I want with the story, but I think it works out for the most part.
I mean, I would certainly say it does. I mean, several other people certainly agree with it with all the different aspects that you put into a video. As a matter of fact, one of the aspects that I did want to divulge into, and you've already talked about it a little bit, is the music. Again, like I said, my dad is the reason why he brought you here. One of the things he told me is before you actually started the narration channel, like you established, you actually wanted to like go all in when it comes to music, whether it comes to film score and stuff like that. What exactly? what is it about like the score or like music as a whole that sort of grabs your attention in the first place?
Um, I guess like music to me is just really expressive. Like you can express really any type of emotion or feeling with it. In some cases, better than words, in my opinion, because words can mean different things to different people. Also, music can too, but universally, certain sounds and like tones and melodies kind of evoke the same response emotionally from everyone. I mean, no one's gonna really hear a sad piano song and then get mad. Like they're not like, yeah, I really want to break some stuff to this. At least I mean, some people, but for the most part, no. Um, and so with, I'm sorry, actually, could you repeat your question? I think I trailed off a little bit.
No, I was saying, well, I had asked like, what is it about? Dang, I even forgot my own question. no, no, it's one of those like, what is it about music that sort of grabs your attention in the first place and make you gravitate more towards that? Like whenever you, especially whenever you were starting out, like wanting to produce stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, music and audio to me is, uh, well, it's kind of hard to explain. I think, and this is a little bit off topic, but I think that I may have like some sort of undiagnosed, I think it's called aphantasia, where you can't really things in your head. Um, I only am recently this out, but
Okay.
like I can't really picture stuff in my head the way other people can. I've come to learn.
Mm.
Like I've always wondered how can draw things, like how they can just like draw a picture. Because whenever I want to draw, I can't picture anything in my head like to draw. I can like remember people's faces that I've seen. I can kind of remember places I've been to, but I can't really envision enough detail about it to actually draw it or like recreate it fully in my head.
Okay.
Um, but with music, it's like the exact opposite. I can like, and I'm pretty sure most people can do this, but like I can like hear a song in my head that I have that doesn't exist. And when I write music, I try to just take the song, like the stuff that I'm already hearing in my head, and make it real. I'm guessing that's how like artists draw. They can just see it in their head and they make it real.
Right. Right.
Um, music, and because I can't really imagine things in my head very easily, gravitating towards audio and stuff like that I can perceive and like hear and envision a lot easier. I think is just pretty natural for me, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
That makes honestly that makes a lot more sense than a lot of people would probably than you probably imagined. It's because everyone's minds works a little differently, and for you, kind of, you know, seeing a scenario more or less with the audio that's with it, I guess. Like, correct me if I'm wrong in assuming this, but like for you, it's easier to envision like basically the soundtrack of life more than the visuals of life.
Yeah,
So okay.
yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I can tell you right now with the music that you implement in your narrations, like I can tell with the talent that you definitely like hit the mark just right. Like whenever you do decide to create a video, like with the narration, I'm just gonna go ahead and divulge into basically the video creating process for you. Do you go in with like audio, like the music first, or like have a music in mind and then try to fit a narration around it, or do you have like the narration in mind and try to like piece together the music that would help heighten it, if I may ask?
Um, so it's a little bit of both. When I do this narration, I like read the story and stuff, and then I go through and well, after I'm done recording it, I go through and start to work on the sound design, like putting in like the sounds of just stuff happening, like footsteps, doors closing, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all I do is I will like just like listen to the part of what's going on and whatever emotion that evokes out of me. Um, because I think that I'm fairly empathetic, and whenever I imagine myself as the people in these stories, it's very easy for me to like emotionally react as if I were them. It's easy for me to get sad or scared or stuff like that in that moment if I'm imagining that I am them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with whatever emotion that evokes, whatever that emotion would sound like to me uh, is what I try to do with the music, if that makes sense. So originally, what I would do is I would write music as the story was going. I'd like write brand new music for each one. Over
Okay.
the last few over the last few years, I've stopped doing that as much just because I have such a big library of songs that I've made that there's always a song that fits at any given moment, I think.
Hmm.
So I don't really need to do that as much. Also, just because it's insanely time consuming to like score every single one.
Oh, I can only
But
imagine.
yeah, so since I have like this big library of songs that I've made, I will use ones that that I think fit fairly well for that moment.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay. Okay. No, I mean, when you talk about time consuming and stuff like that, trust me, I'm a filmmaker. Like, just doing the film alone can be very time consuming, or I imagine for you, doing a narration alone can be very time consuming. But on top of that, trying to create your own score to go with it, that's why most of my short films use royalty free music.
yeah. I mean, doing the scoring is really fun though, and I still like to do it from time to time. Normally on ones that are much more like, uh, I would say, atmospheric or like mysterious
Mm-hmm.
ones. Ones that have some sort of like I'm trying to think of a good example, but stories that have musical elements in the story itself, I will normally write a song, like a brand new song for it right then.
Okay.
Um, like there's this one I did called "If These Walls" about this person who like whenever they go to sleep, the walls of their room disappear and it turns like they're just in this forest
Oh yeah.
and they can hear a singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that one, I'm a piano song with like these singing vocals in it. Um, and I really like doing that, but not like it's hard to find stories that specifically reference musical elements in the story itself. Um, and so ones that don't, I normally will just use one of the songs that I've already made.
In your back catalog, which you have most of, if not all of your music posted up on your music channel. Was the music channel always a plan that you wanted to have, just kind of having it up there and such, or was that something that you're like, okay, people actually like the music that goes with it, let me provide them it in a way?
Well, I actually started a YouTube channel back in like 2006
Mm-hmm.
when I first started
Okay.
music. When I was like 12 or no, I was about 14 then.
Goodness.
In 2000. But yeah, right. I'm an old man now. But uh, but so I started a YouTube channel and I like posted my music up on there back then. And so when I started this channel, my plan was to keep posting music on my original channel for
Mm-hmm.
like and kind of use this channel to direct people to that because my ultimate goal was to use this to make my music more popular and hopefully someday somebody who makes movies or somebody that could help me get into film composing will come along and be like, oh, I like your music, come write this music for a 007 movie or something. I don't know, but that was like what I was hoping would have, not obviously like that, but that was what my goal was to
Right.
try to get attention to my music. So I didn't actually think the narrations would be that popular. um, I thought that if anybody was interested in my videos, it would be for the music. So I started doing that and I posted music up on my other channel. But then after a while, I just decided to post the music on the Dark Somnium channel itself. And so
Mm-hmm.
I did that for about a year. And I realized that that kind of impacts, the visibility of my narration
Mm-hmm.
videos. I'm also music onto that channel. So then I stopped and just decided to make the Somnium music channel.
There we go. There we go. And I mean, again, I'll be sure to have the links below for the people if they're curious. But I mean, still, like I said, I know, like you said before, that music was like your passion before you really went down this path that you're currently on right now. But like, I can certainly, definitely tell the amount of love and attention you give to just about any sort of narration to help make it the music a lot more what's the word, atmospheric, like to make people sort of like mentally lived into the situation and really get more invested than if you were just to post your narration like just as is. So I applaud you for what you do, my good sir.
Oh, thanks so much.
Well, speak of your narrations, let's actually get to that. Well, get to what exactly drew you to it. What words are wonderful. um, what exactly drew you to these creepy pastas, these horror stories, the no sleep stories? What drew you to that? And then on top of that, deciding, you know what, I should narrate these.
So I've always just been like interested in scary stories.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that just some people are just like that. They're interested in scary stories, things like that, and obviously still just like fictional ones. But uh, when I found out like that there were people on YouTube that would read like creepypasta stories, I was definitely interested in that, and I listened to it. And then I actually didn't really know about No Sleep until I started my channel. And then
Okay.
when I was out looking for like things I could read, I found the No Sleep subreddit, and the stories there really appealed to me a lot more than just like standard creepypastas that were available at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because like back in 2016 when I started, creepypastas I think were still in that kind of uh like they started out as kind of like not really memes, but just like like urban legends for the internet,
Right.
like
Right.
about video games or about certain things. Over time they've definitely evolved, but back then they were still just like creepy pastas about Sonic or still Slenderman, all that stuff.
Right.
And at the time No Sleep, the stories there appealed to me a lot more because they were more um, real. If
Mm-hmm.
that like they were like all the stories on there are supposed to be real. That's the whole like crux of No Sleep, is that everything that's posted there is real.
Right. Right.
With hand quotes, but uh, and so since they were real, the way people would write stories there was just a lot more relatable to real people, and I really liked that. And a lot of the stories were just emotional, which is the type of thing that I'm really interested in.
Oh no, absolutely. I can. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you to an extent. I was gonna say the when it comes to No Sleep, I know personally one of my favorite stories. I heard this off of a different YouTuber. If you've done this one, I apologize if I hadn't seen it. But it was one about basically this woman lived next to this person who was basically just trying to be a YouTuber, like the Logan, Jake Paul, like getting on the trends kind. The YouTuber left for a couple days, came back or not came back. They left for a couple days, but then like a giant box showed up on this woman's or in front of the YouTuber's garage lane essentially, and the YouTuber had asked, hey, do you mind just holding on to the mail and stuff before they left. She brings the box inside. Here's a crack. Besides, nothing of it. Days pass. The box is smelling a little bit. Have you heard this story before? Am I just running something or no?
No, yeah, I think my friend wrote that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh
I'm
yeah, and like it's like he tried to mail himself.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is. That one was a good one. Like that one like messed with me a little bit, and like so the ones that you present as well. Like I don't know what's the process for you. I know you kind of you skimmed it when you said that you skimmed through stories, but like for you, like when do you settle on like a story and realize I have to like bring this one to life?
Um, that's something that's still tricky for me because I'm sure that I've missed out on a lot of stories that I would have really liked.
Mm-hmm.
When just skimming it, but I it's just really hard with my ADHD to like force myself to just sit down and read a full story, like because once I read it once, I lose pretty much all interest in reading it again. So if I
Okay,
was to sit and read it fully, even if I liked it, I probably wouldn't want to read it again to record it. If that makes sense.
I get where you're coming
Um,
from.
so all of the audio on my channels for the most part the first time I'm reading the story, other than when I skimmed it.
Okay.
Um, and so like there are like normally I there are two factors, obviously, like the name, because the name gives you like a little bit of detail into what it's about, and if it's something that I think is an interesting subject, then I will be more interested in narrating it. And then when I'm skimming it, I just look for certain things that I would find interesting, like encounters with like cosmic entities, or um, settings where like the characters by themselves and some like creepy stuff's happening, or like the main characters possibly going crazy because all this really weird stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
If I see anything like that in the story, then I'll normally just be like, all right, cool, I'll record this, and then I start recording. And for the most part, I haven't really had any issues doing it that way. Most like 90% of the stories that I've recorded, I really like. Um, there have only been a few times where I'll be like, okay, I think I'm gonna like this, and then I'll start recording, and then like halfway through, it just takes a turn into
Uh,
something that I don't really like, or am not interested in, and then so I'll just stop. But that very rarely happens. I think maybe that's only happened with like 5 stories that I've ever recorded where I've gotten halfway through and then just decided I don't like it and stop.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, a lot of people probably have that same mentality when they're watching certain movies and such. So I mean, I can understand where you're coming from on that aspect.
Mm.
Uh, uh, okay, so deep breath, Nathan. Sorry. Again,
Yeah.
I'm like nervous and excited for all this stuff because like again, like hearing this stuff, like I can see like I can already tell like even this little explanation, like sort of the creative process for you. Like I can imagine how thorough you can be at times and how interesting it must be for you to see some of these stories. Is there any stories, at least off the top of your mind, that sort of jump out at you and it's like this was probably one of the best stories I ever had a chance to either read or narrate? Like what are some of your favorites?
Oh, definitely like Ted the Caver, A Shattered Life.
Okay.
What happens when the stars go out? Let's see. I really like Feed the Pig. There's a bunch of them that I just think are really great stories. Let's see. There's this one called Maria on the Moon that I really liked,
Mm-hmm.
and the Northern Lights is definitely one of my favorite ones.
Well, absolutely.
Let's see. Yeah, I know. I'm sure. I don't know if you've heard all those, but um,
I'm sure my dad
I'm
has if I
sorry.
do.
Were you asking like what stories I liked, or were you asking me to explain, like describe them?
I mean, you can describe them if you want, but I was saying like if there's like a couple off the top of your head that's like absolutely like it changed sort of your perspective or like how great they were or like some of the better stories that you've had to narrate. Because like you said, I know you said that 90% of your stories that you narrate like you like them. So I know if there was any that like stuck in your mind is like this one was just
Oh
that
yeah.
cut above.
Definitely the Northern Lights. And this is all just speaking from things that I'm personally interested in. So
Mm-hmm.
all of these ones are definitely going to be sadder, like almost more sad than scary, just because I really like, the ones that are emotional. Um, but obviously they still have that horror element to them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Northern Lights is probably one that I would say is that and A Shattered Life. Yeah, those two. Oh, and What Happens When the Stars Go Out. Those three are probably like the three that I would say like stayed with me personally the most
Okay.
after reading them.
All right, and I can totally get that. And for those wondering, again, I'm gonna be sure to link his channel in the description because trust me, the way that you tell these stories, and especially some of the more like one of the better narration channels out there, if I may say. I was gonna say for me personally, there's two that stuck to mind, and one like the one that I thought of the top of my head is the imaginary friend was like a different entity or something like that, like the one where basically like I wish I had the title. I wrote the one word, but it's like the imaginary friend that you had or that the person had.
No, so it's like there's a few that I've done that have that, but one of the ones that's the most popular is I think it's My Imaginary Friend is actually a pretty chill guy. Is that the name of one of them?
No, no, no. I think it was like the like my imaginary friend is actually from another world or something along the lines of that.
Let's see. Let me double check.
I
Is
will
it
also
My Imaginary Friend is Keeping Secrets from Me?
maybe maybe is it the one
That
where
one
it's
essentially, huh?
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it was the one to where it's like it started off like the person was like very nervous about sharing it with like the close friends, but then like there was the one interaction with the older bully to where like the person was scared, and then the imaginary friend literally killed the bully like in the bathroom or something along the lines of that, and then like
Oh yeah, that's that one. I'm pretty sure.
that's that one. Okay,
Yeah.
I wish I remember titles better, but at the same time, like that one again, like goodness, like the imagery that was installed in that one, not only from the story aspect, but from you with a sound design aspect as well. Like especially whenever it was like presenting the friend or the friend presenting like the world that they were from, just kind of that almost like otherworldly, like holy feel to it. Like it was just. It was almost cinematic to a point. Like again, once again, applaud you for that one. That one was beautifully done.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I really like doing like the whole cinematic. Um, Another goal that I have when I make the videos is to try to make them seem like movies that you're listening to,
Mm-hmm.
with sound design, the music, all that stuff.
Oh no, absolutely. I can. And like I said, whenever I hear one of your narrations, like that's something that I can instantly, like grab it, instantly pick up on. Like just again, like you're basically creating the modern century like radio drama, if I may, with how lived in like they tried to make it back in the day with what limited resources they have compared to today with all that you can do. On top of that, I want to also give a shout out to whoever you have for voice acting and such. Some of the voice acting you have in there, whenever it's not just you narrating, is absolutely incredible. How do exactly do you go forth like looking for like voice actors for certain parts?
Well, so uh, recently a lot of the female lines have been done by my girlfriend, who also has a narration channel.
Okay.
Um, and her channel's called Romnex.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like if there's other male voices, I'll normally just have like other narrators that I know do it. One that I've worked with a lot is Mr. Black Pasta. He's a really good voice actor. I think it's all just luck. I also like working with my subscribers from time to time and letting them, be in on the videos, and a lot of them are really good too.
For the subscribers out there that are listening, round of applause for you guys. You guys are seriously killing it out there. Uh, I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this line out there. If you need a voice actor for whatever unique voice this is, I am trying to get into voice acting myself. So there you go.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm always open to have people in the video.
There
I,
you
I
go.
mainly still, I try to treat YouTube, even though it's become my job more or
Mm-hmm.
less, I try to still treat it like it's just something I do for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to take it too seriously. So I really don't mind like, if anybody wants to be in my videos, I am totally fine with doing, like, having anybody have to, like, record the lines with their phone and send it to me. I'm not like, gonna be like, well, if you don't have the best quality in the world, you're not gonna be in my video. Like, I'm not that type of person because I still try to just handle it like it's, just a fun thing I'm doing.
Right, right. I mean, because at the end of the day, like like you said, even though it is your career, this is something that you find fun and passion in. Sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth. But this is something you find fun and passion in, like just being able to go forth and basically, like I said, bring to life these stories that some people probably already had the image of, but like
Mm,
it's a difference from having the image to having like something more physical there. If you get what I'm getting at.
yeah.
Um, I was gonna say for you, like I can also imagine for you. Not only is it it may be fun, but I can imagine at times, especially when it comes to editing this stuff together, like I can imagine how hard it must be to like get it just right. What's the process for you when it comes to editing a narration once you've got all the reading and extra parts said and done?
So the editing is something that takes a little while because, like I said before, I stutter a lot when I read.
Mm-hmm.
I also My brain does this really weird thing when I'm reading where it will assume what the next word is going to be. I don't really know why, and I can't really stop it. So, like, when I'm reading, my brain will just assume what the next word should be or would be if it was a sentence I was saying, or just a sentence that's like the most common word you would hear in that sentence. Um, like if it's saying I was going to, my brain will just assume that the next word is like to the store or outside or something, and then I'll just say that even though that's not the word that I'm reading, and I can't really stop myself from doing stuff like that. So I have a lot of mistakes and stuff that I do, or that I have, and then I have to edit them out.
Right.
And normally, like if there's like a 30-minute narration, like let's say that the story is 30 minutes when I'm done, before editing, the audio file will probably be closer to 50 minutes or around an hour of just like various takes of every sentence that I've said or various words that I messed up on. And there will be usually around 300 or 400 instances of like little errors that I have to go back and then cut them out. So I'll listen through it again and like cut out the mistakes and piece together like like half sentences to make one complete sentence that sounds correct. Because like I might read a sentence and then get the last half of the sentence wrong and then redo
Mm-hmm.
it, but then get like the middle word of the sentence wrong, and then so like later on in editing, because if I was just to like sit there and reread it until I said the full sentence perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
it would recording would take all day for me. um, so I will piece together like half sentences and half words to make complete sentences, and that's how all my videos are. I don't think there's I don't think there's ever been a complete paragraph in the any audio in any of my videos where it wasn't edited together, like spliced together by a bunch of different takes. Um, Usually that happens once or twice a sentence, honestly, throughout my videos. So they're all just like Frankenstein together.
There we go. I was gonna say whenever you're talking about basically your brain trying to say the words before, like before that it's actually what's written out. My first thought is whenever you said that, it's like so basically your brain is like the autocomplete like middle button function on a phone more than anything else. It's like it's already predicting what you're expected to say, even though that's not what you're
Yeah,
supposed
pretty
to
much.
say.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's because like I don't know why. I think it's because I have a really hard time like focusing my attention on stuff.
Hmm.
And so when I'm focusing my attention on what I'm reading, it's hard for me to also be focusing on what I'm saying. I can't perfectly do both, if that makes sense.
No,
I can still, yeah.
I was gonna say I totally get where you're coming from. I struggle with that at times. That's why there's at least been twice in this podcast where you've heard me say words are wonderful. That's basically me just sitting down and be like, "Reset, Nathan. Let's go."
I feel you.
Because like I'm trying to think of all the words I want to say, and then it just comes out just bleh,
Yeah,
audio vomit.
yeah.
um, but on top of all this, amazing stuff that you got going on, with your narrations and the music as well, there have been times where you've dipped into the gaming sphere as well. Is there a particular is there a difference in your mentality when it comes to doing a narration versus like just doing a random live stream of a game here and there?
Yeah, I don't really care for my voice. I don't like hearing my voice. So, obviously, as you can tell, I don't really sound too much like I do when I read right now
Mm-hmm.
because, oops, one sec, I gotta turn the microphone.
There you go.
When I read, I talk a lot more softly because I'm just self-conscious of the idea of people hearing me read stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I sound different, is because I'm being like a bit, I'd say, more shy or like more reserved. Whereas right now I'm just talking to you.
Right.
So that's, like when I do my live streams, I'm more personal. I'm not as uh, I'm I just talk more comfortably, I guess, than I do when I narrate.
Okay. No, no, I can get where you're coming from. It's I can imagine for you, like at least when it comes to narration, like you probably have that mentality of like this is a performance. I want to make sure that I do this to the best of my abilities. Meanwhile, when it comes to gaming, you're just like we're just here, we're just relaxing, we're just having a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I was gonna make well. I'll say this. Like you do have the gaming, but like with the narrations and the music and stuff, and definitely with a little bit more of the rise, in my opinion, these days when it comes to like certain narrators and certain like creepypasta stories and such. Thanks to a certain dead spouse, if I may say so. Is there a for those that are looking to potentially like get into narration and wanting to like create their own basically environments and like retelling these stories? Is there something you would recommend them like if they starting out?
I would say that if they're interested in doing it, just make sure, that you're doing it for fun. Um, when I started, it took me about 2 years to get to even like I think 2,000 subscribers, and then
Okay.
in the third year I got to 100,000, and then in the fourth year I got to pretty much where I am now because I'm coming up on my fifth year. Um, so like when you first start, you know, and this is back when I was posting daily. Like when I first started, I was posting every day,
Oh
sometimes
wow.
twice a day, and I would post like 30-minute stories and stuff. Because back then it was just more so of a thing I was doing for fun in my off time than
Mm-hmm.
it is now. Not to say that I don't enjoy it, because I still do, but now that it's my job, instead of going to work for 8 hours and then coming home and making videos to relax, I just make videos. You know,
Okay.
so I guess that it's more of a I try to put more thought into everything I do instead of just being like, oh, I'll read this, I'll read that, and I'll read pretty much anything. Um, but back then, I would post a video and I would get like 3 or 4 views on it, and then like maybe like 2 dislikes, and then somebody just like spamming random gibberish in the comments. So like if you go into it being like, oh, I want to be like a really popular narrator, or I want to get lots of views on these videos, you're gonna get real discouraged really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as long as you're doing it for fun and you don't really care about that stuff, then you'll get there eventually. Like you'll find an audience eventually. It just takes time, but it's definitely really easy to get discouraged and disappointed when you start out on YouTube or when you start out with stuff like this. If you don't get that like feedback and stuff you're looking for right away. But other than that, as long as you're just doing it for fun, I think that that's the most important thing. Obviously, outside of that, when starting, there's places you can find stories like No Sleep, uh, for like programs to use to write music or to like do the narrations. I use Adobe Audition to record. There's
Mm-hmm.
also like Audacity,
Audacity.
which is a free program. Yeah, that's a free program, which is still it's just as good. Um, but yeah, I think did that answer your question?
No, that perfectly answered my question. I was gonna say, like, for what you were talking about, like going into it more or less for fun, or making sure you're not trying to just do it just to get the views and such. That's something that I'm not gonna say I struggle with. But that's something that I've noticed with me. Like, I've only had this channel since September, or I've had this podcast since September of last year, and I wasn't exactly expecting to blow up and instantly get a million views and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, like I'm doing this because I'm actually getting to sit down and talk with the people that I truly admire more than anything else, like what they're doing and such. And so like I'm having fun just on my end. I know the if I keep up with it, I'm sure the views will come in. But even if they don't, and I'm just doing this to an audience of, you know, 50 to 100 people for the rest of my life, I don't care. I'm getting to enjoy like amazing conversations with amazing creators such as yourself. So for those that are
Well, thank
looking,
you.
I was going to say, for those that are looking to do what I'm doing, or look what Ronnie right here is doing, definitely heed these words. Do it for fun more than anything else. Do not care about how many subscribers or how many views you get on a certain video. Although it is nice, just have fun at the end of the day. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
there you go. Um, so I have to ask, like like you said, you've been doing this for about 5 years now. You have, I've already gushed about it enough, but like incredible stories, incredible storytelling skills. Great scores and soundtrack producing aspects. Let's say, I'm Mr. Moneybags, big executive, come to you and be like, look, we love what you do. You tell incredible stories, and we love every little aspect of you. We want to create the perfect, or we want to create the dream Dark Somnium project. What would be the dream project for you?
I guess something that is fairly long. That's kind of like a full like an adventure. Has like definitely things for like sound design, music. If we're talking about like a type of story, I would say the closest example I could give would be the left right game that I did, which is 6 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's got great characters in it. It's got a lot of really interesting stuff that happens. Um, I guess just anything like that, that it's like a big adventure that starts out simple and then just goes into some like some crazy uh just big adventure. It's sorry, I don't really know if that's a great answer, but
No,
I
no,
think that
I,
anything that oh, sorry.
no. I was just gonna say. I mean, like I said, this is your dream project. You can make it however big or advantageous that you want. I mean, this is the stuff that, like I said, that you want to do more than anything else. So I'm letting you just have at it.
Well, I guess like it'd be cool to something I've always wanted to do is get like some animations for the videos, but
Mm.
not like standard animations with just a bunch of people. I've always wanted to try to get somebody who could draw or animate in the same way, like the art style for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Right. Yes.
It's
Yes.
just like the black lines and stuff, like sketched black lines. Like I really like that. If I could get something like that, like animated uh, in the videos, I'd really like that. But obviously, animation is not easy, and I I can't draw at all, so I'd have to completely rely on somebody else for that. And when stuff like that is insanely expensive,
It is.
to try to get somebody to fully animate, like a half an hour or hour long video like that.
I mean, even like a 5 minute video is like a good like couple tens of thousands of dollars alone. Like
Mm.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be something I'd really like to do.
Okay, okay. I mean, like I said, I am Mr. Moneybags. I got the big bags here, so we can make that animation happen at some point. Uh,
Mm.
no, but so again, like I said, so you have all this incredible stuff going on. I have to ask that basically the generic question: where do you hope to see yourself, say, 5, 10 years from now?
If I'm still doing what I'm doing now, I'll be happy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel very grateful to be where I am. And if anything, if nothing changes, like I would be insanely grateful for that. Uh, Especially with things going on right now, you know. I know that a lot of people are struggling, and I feel very fortunate that I am in the position I am where I can just, you know, like make YouTube videos or do these narrations for like my job and pay my bills and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
if nothing changed, if everything stayed the way it was right now, I would be just beyond grateful for that. You know, I would be happy. I can't really ask for anything more than, you know, what this is, because my dream when I was a kid was to become a film composer, and I'm honestly as close to being a film composer as I ever thought I would be. Like I wanted to be a film composer, but I never actually really thought I could, you know?
Yeah.
Because personally, I don't even really still I don't know how to read music or write music, you know, like notation stuff like that. I went to college for it, but I'm just terrible in school and I have no discipline. So I just, you know, couldn't even really make myself learn the basics of it. And all the music I make is by ear. So I've always doubted my actual ability to become a film composer.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do right now is if I never get closer than that, I'll still feel like I accomplished something, you know? I accomplished some sort of dream that I had to be able to make music for a living. And I feel like while the narrations are more so, like most of that, I feel like the music is also a big part of it. So I guess if I was to say if there was anything I could improve on, maybe getting closer to being a film composer in
Okay.
5 years would be cool. I would like, you know, it'd be cool to eventually see my name in like, you know, the credits for a movie someday, something like that. But yeah, honestly, I can't really imagine anything else. You know, I feel like if I was to try to, you know, be like, oh, I want this, this, and that, I'd seem ungrateful for what I already have. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't really imagine anything better than what I have, honestly.
No, I mean it's certainly it's certainly great to see what you do have right now and all the incredible stuff that you do. How many times have I said incredible? Goodness, no, but it's wonderful to see just all the stuff that you got going on. And honestly, I really do hope to see more for you, whether it be in that same vein or, like you said, with actually doing a film score. I was gonna say if I ever actually do decide to buckle down and get that, mass media degree, I'm gonna be making some short films. I wouldn't mind a wonderful score from yourself.
That'd be awesome. That'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
I mean, trust me, you're definitely gonna be top of the list. A lot better than some of the royalty free stuff. Not that that's bad, but I mean, having an actual score is a lot better than just grabbing from royalty free. I'm sure you can attest to that at
Oh,
times.
well, well, yeah, you can get like more, you know, specific stuff
Yeah.
when you have something custom written. But yeah, I mean, that'd be really cool.
I mean, trust me. You, like I said, you're definitely top of the list. So I will not forget about you, my good sir.
Thank you.
There you go. As we're winding down, I really only have one last question for you. I obviously, like you said, you've like entrenched yourself when it comes to music and narration, all this incredible stuff that is basically art. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
I feel like it's definitely one of the most important things because I feel like I feel like that if you don't have a way to express yourself or to get your emotions out, to put like what you feel into something, then they'll just get bottled up until, you know, they destroy you. And music is the most accessible way to help people with that. You know, like I'm not saying that music could help everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for a lot of people, it can provide an outlet that helps, you know, helps people keep going and helps people get through stuff. And everyone can write music. I feel like a lot of people don't really have confidence in themselves, but I feel like everybody, you know, everyone knows what would sound good to them, and as long as you know how to, you know, play some chords, you can make music. And I don't know, I feel like music and art like that is something that's very important to pretty much everybody, even if they don't like making music. Everyone likes listening to music. They can express themselves through the music they listen to. They can listen to music that other people have made, that when and know that they feel what that person felt when they made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it connects people. It helps people with their emotions, and I feel like it's one of the most important things in life.
I I can't think of a better way to word it myself. That was yeah. The when it comes to art, like you said, it's incredible just how easy it is for people to just connect with it in the first place. Because at the end of the
Mm.
day, like you said, just about anyone can do it. But yet, words are wonderful, Nathan.
Yeah.
Basically, long story short, I agree with you. It is wonderfully said. And with that, I'm all out of questions. Ronnie, like I said at the beginning, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I've already shouted you with plenty of praise so far, but it's my podcast. I want to shout you with a little bit more. Uh, like I said, the main reason why I brought you on, like I said, is because my dad. He is a major inspiration for me. I'll be the first to admit that. And so, he like the stuff that he listens to. The fact that I get to whenever I sit down and listen to it, it's incredible just how lived in like you make every single situation that you can. Even something that's completely far off and out of this world and celestial and all this different kind of stuff. It's incredible like how much you get a person sort of involved with it from all sorts of different levels of aspect. Like your narration is one of the easiest. The easiest on the ears to listen to. The sound design that you have is incredible and heightens whatever the emotion or whatever the atmosphere is going on, and just the production as a whole. Like I said before, you've basically are part of the generation. You're basically creating the modern radio drama. It's incredible to see what you do, and I honestly cannot wait to see more. What's next for you? Because I really do hope the best for all that you do and with all future stories that you tell. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
It's the least I can do. um,
If I
you
Well,
were
I was gonna say, if I can add something about the radio drama, which I think is interesting. One of the ideas where I originally got like the way to portray the like what I do,
mm-hmm.
and I should have included this earlier, but I didn't think about it. When I was a kid, my grandpa used to listen, or my grandpa would listen to this thing called Radio Mystery Theater, and it was like this,
Oh, I
like it
remember
was
that.
pretty much like an audio drama, and I hated it because every summer I'd go out to their house and I would sleep on the other end of the house that was all dark and stuff, and they'd listen to it, and it had this really creepy creaking door sound effect when it started, and
Mm-hmm.
it creeped me out. But yeah, so when I started my stuff, and when I started like presenting it recently, I started presenting it as like the No Sleep Radio.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a tribute to the radio mystery theater stuff that my grandparents would listen to. So yeah, I
Well, there
appreciate you
you
saying that
go.
about the audio drama stuff.
There we go. That's a good way for it to come full circle more than anything else. I mean, like you said, your grandma was part of the inspiration for you to get into like music and stuff. So what better way to sort of have an homage to that than with, like you said, the mystery radio drama theater thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, but yeah, long story short, like I said, thank you so much for once again taking time out of your day, sit down, chat. I really do appreciate it. Go ahead and plug yourself for the people down at home.
No, well, my channel name is the Dark Somnium. Yeah, that's you can search on YouTube or Spotify. I have the No Sleep Radio, which is a podcast I recently started, which is essentially just the stories, but on Spotify and iTunes and stuff. Um, and then I have my music channel, Somnium Music, which is that's also on Spotify and iTunes. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll be sure to have the link down below in the description for people if they're curious as well. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. And I appreciate you having me though.
Well, once again, I really do appreciate you sitting down, chatting, talking, and like I said before, my offer's still on the table if you need some voice actor with this distinct voice, or I could try to do different voices. That's part of being a voice actor.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be really fun. We should do that sometime.
I'm totally down for it. But for that, for the people at home, all I have left to say is hasta luego, mi amigos. Whoa. Don't click off the podcast just yet. Now, I'm sure you heard me reiterate many times throughout the podcast that the main reason why I had Ronnie on was because of my dad. So, I thought it'd be a nice little treat if I had my dad actually say a few words to him. Luckily, with the permission of Ronnie and the surprise of my dad, here's the fun little interaction the two had. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Put on these headphones.
Okay.
And hold the mic, and he'll be talking to you. Here you go, Ronnie. This is David.
Hello?
Hello, Nathan. How are you today?
Nathan? No, I'm David. I'm his dad.
Oh, David. Oh, my bad. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Well, it's nice to meet you too. I'm a big fan. Been listening to you for years.
Wow, awesome. That's really cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I liked a lot of your longer stories. Like I like the one with the where they're at a prison with the voids. It was like
Yeah.
It was like an 8-part series. It was huge, but yeah, I enjoyed that
Oh,
one.
yeah. Yeah, that one was real fun. I really liked making the music for that one.
I did too. I like listening to a lot of the music. Some of the music you've got going through there, the slower stuff. In fact, I think you had a post up there at one time that you wanted to know what we'd rather hear from you, and I'm more into the Silent Hill stuff too. So.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's my favorite type of music. I was actually pretty glad that was one of the most picked or the most picked one.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. I enjoy listening to a lot. I've listened to a lot of different narrators and stuff out there. It's just you have a lot of feeling in what you do. I can tell that you got a passion for it, and I really enjoy listening to you narrate. Even the same stories, like the Chernobyl one. I've heard 2 or 3 different people do the Chernobyl one, but I like yours the best, and I usually go back to that one to listen to when I want to hear it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm really happy to hear that.
No,
Uh,
you do a great job at what you do. I enjoy listening to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any particular types of stories you like? I could look for a story for you.
I like dark web stories, but I like the one like the prison one. Something, and I also like a lot of what do they call them, shapeshifters. I like those too.
Oh, like walkers and stuff?
Yeah, skinwalkers, stuff like that. Just stories, something that's got a twist to it, and I don't know. Most of the stuff you have, I like just because I like the way you read it out. I mean,
Cool. Thank you so much.
it's a like I say, it's not always the story; it's the narrator. So, I mean, it's awesome. You're my favorite narrator out of all of them, and I've listened to a lot of them.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored. I really appreciate that.
Well, it's appreciated what you do,
Thank you.
and keep doing it.
Thank you. I will.
But that's all I want. I really just wanted to poke in. I mean, I'll let you get back to work. I'm glad you took the time to do a podcast with my son. He's trying to get started. He enjoys doing this. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely share it up when it's posted. Let my know about it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. But no, he like I say, I'm way bigger fan. I love listening to your stuff. Been listening to it for over 3 years, ever since I started really
Wow.
listening. But yeah, last night I was listening to the one about the guy that met up with the devil and ended up being a female. It's been a few
Oh, yeah.
years ago. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah. The where at the bar.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to it. I like the twist.
That was a great one.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be listening to stuff tonight too. So probably the
Oh,
live.
yeah.
You got the live stream going tonight?
Yeah, I do. I also have this new story that I'm working on that's like 40 minutes long. I'm hoping to post it tonight, but I might not because I still have a bunch of sound design to do on it. So,
Well, I'll definitely
yeah,
be
that'll
looking
be
for. I'll be looking for it.
cool.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back at it. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. It was an honor talking to you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice talking to you too. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Hey, no, thank you. There we go. That was fun, wasn't it?
It was really cool.
Yes.